So I was recently asked how I shot a photo that I posted yesterday on Instagram, what my settings were, what camera I was using, and lens as well. And rather than just kind of throwing it up there in text, I thought I'd do a video and talk to you a little bit about the setup. Only because it's just a little bit more than what lens settings and camera that I was using. So I actually wrote down some things that I wanted to chat about. So the first one was the only way that you're able to get that kind of shot is if you have a good base to work from. And I didn't have like a super expensive tripod, if I'm honest with you. They get kind of heavy and they're hard to lug around. So I kind of have a tendency of going for the lighter tripods. And this one was kind of like a cheap one anyway. I think it was like 150, under 200 bucks for that tripod. It's something that I can keep with me and something that doesn't take up a lot of space. For that particular shot that you were talking about, the camera, I actually have a whole lot more expensive cameras than the ones I used. However, they're all full frame. And the camera that I used was a 60D Canon camera. And the reason being is because I wanted a little bit extra telephoto length with that crop sensor. So the lens that I was using for that particular shot was the 24-105 Canon L series lens. And reason being, it was kind of the one that I had closest to me. And the 24-105 with that crop on a crop camera gave me the distance that I needed in order to fill the frame enough with those fireworks. Now, okay, my settings. Now, I said it's not so much about the settings, but, you know, they're kind of a big deal. It's, you know, Joe McNally is kind of a distant mentor of mine, and he says that, you know, settings in photography are more of pirate's code. It's very loose. You learn them only to break them. My shutter speed was 1/30th of a second, and at the time of that particular photo, the sunset out here in Wyoming, I mean, it doesn't get dark until like 10 o'clock at night, and those fireworks were going off, I think, close to about 9:30, 9:45. So I had to drag the shutter with that 1/30th of a second, 30 seconds worth of a, not a 30th, 30 seconds of a exposure to allow all of the fireworks to burn into the sensor. Does it make sense? Well, the downside to that is that I also had a sky full of just so much light. So my aperture, I ended up shooting that at like f/22 just to bring all of that ambient light down as much as possible. My ISO, I tried to keep that as low as possible because I didn't want noise. There's already plenty of noise whenever you do long exposures with photography anyway. And then another thing that I was playing around with was just adjusting the white balance. So two different ways. You've got the custom white balances that you can toggle through, and those will do a really cool job, but sometimes you can do white balance shift where you can add magenta, or you can get into a little bit more of warmer tones or bluer tones, or add some red, I already said red, add some greens or something in there to just change up the scene completely. Now, of course, I know that if you're shooting raw, you can do all of this in post-processing, but sometimes it's cool just to see it on the LCD and get excited about it, and then you can go and do any tweaking that you want whenever you're sitting in front of your computer. The biggest thing that I had was actually this, where is that? Of course, was actually just this little Canon, an RC6. And this little transmitter was probably, I don't know, $20, $25. They make a whole bunch of cheap ones, but you have to have a way to trigger the camera. Now, you can set your camera to a 2-second time delay and then just hope that it happens, but with this and any other trigger release, it will automatically fire the camera once you kind of hear that boom, the firework starts to shoot. and then you know it's coming, so you hit this, and then you're ready to go and capturing that particular exposure and not leaving anything specifically to chance. The tripod, the camera was a crop sensored camera. The lens was the 24-105. The settings were 30 seconds at f/22 ISO 100. I think I had my white balance set to, a daylight at the time. And then one other thing that is going to be huge is making sure that you can focus on your subject. Shooting at night presents somewhat of a challenge. So one of the things that I learned to do, you can use the LCD or the live view functionality on your camera, and if you'll disable the LCD to expose the environment that you're in, you'll be able to actually zoom in on that LCD and kind of tack in focus a little bit better. That's what I was doing, but keep in mind, you know, when it's pitch black outside, it's a different story than whenever you've got mountains in the horizon, quite a bit of ambient light to work with. It wasn't too difficult of a challenge to get that in focus. Again, thank you for the question, and I hope that some of this may have answered that for you. If not, feel free to post another comment, post another question. I'll make another video, and then we'll all kind of learn about this stuff together. Sound good? All right.